Hello there, good people. Hi, I'm Jason with Green Country Agroforestry, and I'm standing out here in an overgrown patch of the backyard in the summer, getting ready to plant some of these. Ponca butternut squash. Now, this is a butternut squash with much shorter vines than the standard Waltham butternut that you're used to, although it produces the same kind of fruit. It's a winter squash, so it's grown best in the summer, which is, well, right about now. Now, a little bit late getting these seeds in the ground, so we're going to cross our fingers and hope that we get across the finish line with some finished fruit before the frost gets to us. Let's get started. The paper that I'm using here is a 40 weight craft paper, which really isn't thick enough, so I have to use a double portion of it. But the only other alternatives I can see when you get a roll of paper this size would be the 50 or 60 weight, which really also is not as thick as I'd like it, but doubling that up would just be too much, too expensive, and too heavy. So I'll probably get more of this 40 weight and just anticipate putting down 2 layers. So these little piles of compost are basically being the little hills that ordinarily we'd be planting our squash or our gourd seeds into. And the usual is to about the depth of your first knuckle, at least 3 seeds per pile. So that's what we'll do. Yep. Oh, I hear somebody saying it. So Jason, all you got to do is throw down 6 to 8 inches of your wood chip mulch. That's all you got to do, right? It's covered from there. Well, sir, that sounds wonderful, but I'm afraid truth of the matter isn't quite so simple. Fact is, well, you see, we put down 6 to 8 inches of this arborist wood chip mulch across this backyard area last year. It's broken down really nice, made all this really rich topsoil, so rich that, well, you saw the grass, that's about the lushest and thickest and greenest this grass has ever been by the time I got around to cutting it. So, no, just dropping down some wood chips doesn't mean your days of worrying about weeds and grass are over. Far from it. This is a multi-year process. Multi-year. And ultimately, if the only thing you're planning on doing is growing annual crops to begin with, it's you might want to look at something that's already been composted instead of putting down the wood chip mulch. Just saying. Because it does take a long time to break down, and ultimately what you're doing is creating a soil that trees want to live on, not necessarily that annual vegetables want to live on. So if your goal is to come along and plant in these multi-year, eventual generation bearing crops like the pear tree right there, peach tree over there, pecan tree right behind you, hedgerow of hazelnuts and other assorted berries all the way around the property, then yes, putting down wood chip mulch and letting it break down and just filling your time in between your big trees getting up and productive by planting annuals, that might be the route you want to take. But if you're just wanting to Alright, now we got an extra 4 to 6 inches of mulch over the top here. We're just going to go ahead and soak it in good. And we're not just going to soak in the spot where we planted the squash, but also all around, because that pile of wood chips is effectively banking moisture for us. We might get some rain later on today, but I don't know that we will. And even then, we're entering that time period where typically we have our drought for about a month or two. So anywhere from 40 to 60 days with usually little or no precipitation. We want to be able to hold on to as much water as possible. Otherwise, I'll have to be out here with a hose on the regular trying to keep everything irrigated. Well, that's no fun. So we're going to allow our soil organic matter, in this case the wood chip mulch, to help us bank some of that moisture. Let's go ahead and get to it. Well, all right there, good people. Hey, speaking of rain, guess what's falling right now? Well, wouldn't you know it? Hey, I hope you found this video informative or entertaining, and if you did, well, you know what to do. I will catch you next time. Let's get the camera in before it gets ruined.